This is the exact roadmap that I've used with hundreds of clients to help them beat the battle with anxiety, stress, overwhelm, worry, second guessing themselves. So essentially, they can get out of their head and into their lives, which means things seem much more enjoyable and things get easier. I hate to overcomplicate things. In fact, you probably hate overcomplicating things too. And just so you know, my typical client, they're people who are usually entrepreneurs or they're career driven. They've made a lot of wins in their life. But in spite of those wins and in spite of moving up the ladder of their career or having a successful business, they have people who depend on them. Many of them would consider to be some of the most functional ones in their family, yet as a result of that, they look like they have everything together on the outside, but on the inside, they're like these anxious balls of twine that feel like they're waiting for the next shoe to drop or waiting for the next problem to happen. And a lot of the clients I work with, they've had childhood trauma. That's why they actually are high functioning, because they learned how to take care of other people throughout childhood. They feel a lot of pressure to perform, and all of this stuff at once worked for them, but now it starts holding them back. So here's exactly right here on this piece of paper. It's the exact roadmap of how I've helped hundreds of clients beat that battle. Now, thing is, it says in all my marketing materials and my websites, I've worked with thousands of people, and I have. But this particular method is one I've worked with hundreds of people, not thousands. This I've worked with hundreds of people, and they've gotten some pretty good results. So number one, when a person comes into my program and they say, Dan, I just feel like I'm this anxious mess. I feel like I'm scattered all the time. I feel like I'm just like waiting for bad things to happen. I'm starting to have anxiety attacks, or I can't sleep, or whatever it is. The number one thing that I help them do is get clear on the results that they're going to have once the anxiety, quote unquote, goes away. And you might say, oh, get clear. Like, I already know. I won't be feeling anxious. I won't be feeling nervous. Like, I won't be feeling as stressed out. But that's exactly the problem, is people will focus on what they don't want. Or a lot of people will first start off by saying, in fact, if I asked you this question, and if I said, let's say a miracle occurred overnight. We worked together and a miracle occurred overnight, and all of a sudden the anxiety, the feeling of being on edge, like all that agitation, it was all gone. How would you know? You might say, oh, I don't know. I just know. I just know. And I'd say, how do you know? You might say, well, I start feeling better. I wouldn't have that anxiety, or I wouldn't wake up feeling stressed and on edge. But that's not, I hate to say it this way, but that's not good enough of an answer for your mind to buy into. We need your mind to be super clear. We need to activate the reticular activating system, part of your brain responsible for awareness. So one of the things I do, and that I've trained my other coaches who work for me to do, is to get really tough with you getting really clear on what's going to happen as a result when you've beaten the battle with anxiety. So for example, I'll say, okay, so what will you be feeling? And usually people will say, well, I won't be feeling so anxious. And no. What will you be feeling? And they'll say, okay, I get it. I'll be feeling more calm. I'll be feeling more relaxed. I'll say, okay, so what will you be doing that's different? You wake up tomorrow, anxiety is gone. You feel calm, relaxed, chill. Things just roll off your back. What will you be doing that's different? And sometimes people say, not much, just living my life. I'm like, okay, what does that look like? So when I ask people these questions, I go like deeper and deeper and deeper, because we need a crystal clear picture and a really good vision of what it's going to be like. And there are some people that say, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a clear vision of what it's like. So there are some people I actually don't allow into my program because they refuse to do this process. And I'm going to tell you, this is probably the most important part of the process, is clarity. Really get crystal clear on what it's going to be like. Now, it doesn't mean this is how it has to be. It doesn't mean that this is what it's 100% going to be. We just need to start sparking the ideas and put your mind in a solution driven mindset instead of a problem seeking mindset. So, feelings and actions. So I go really deep into what will it feel like? What are some of the things you'll be doing or doing differently? I usually ask, what will you be doing more of or less of? What will you start doing, stop doing, do more of, do less of, do better or different? And these are the questions that I drill people to get them to answer these questions, because we need a really powerful foundation. I can give you a guarantee that most people doing this type of work are not starting with that rock solid foundation. And that's why so many people feel like they're floundering in all these coaching programs or in therapy. They're not clear about what it's going to be like. So if you are a coach or a therapist and you work with people, do yourself a favor and do your clients a favor and help them get crystal clear on what it's going to be like once they achieve XYZ. And it's not just feeling, it's not just doing, but it's like, what results? Okay, so as a result of doing more of this and doing less of this, what are the results of that going to be? And if people own businesses, they'll say, oh, I'll be working with more clients, or I'll finally have more freedom, or I can get more into my relationship and spend more time with my family, and I can enjoy my downtime. So that's how they'll know that they've gotten results. And those are the things that we chase. Those are the things that we're working towards. So step number one is clarity. Step number two is what we call deep discovery. And again, this is something that I hardcore drill into my clients and the people who are in my program. Like, we're going to get raw, we're going to get real, we're going to get vulnerable. And again, these are the things I don't see other coaches doing. Or if they're doing it, they're like half-assing it. And the last thing you want to do is go to a person, a coach or a therapist or a guide who's going to be half-assing their process. So deep discovery. There are these three things that I help you get crystal clear on. Number one is values. We all have 5 personal core values. And there's a process that you go through that will allow you to identify and define those values and then fulfill those values. So there's a process that you go through. It's going to help you do that. If you don't know your values, then chances are you're always going to feel like you're floundering. You're going to feel like you're lost. You're not going to feel complete. You're not going to know what purpose drives you. You're not going to know what drives you. Knowing your values will help you discover why you attract certain things into your life, why you repel certain things into your life, what fuels you, what motivates you, what direction you should be going in. So your 5 core values. And I can almost guarantee you, every single person that comes into my program, they feel stressed and depressed. The reason why is because they're not living in accordance with their personal 5 core values. So you go through a process that helps you identify, define, and align those personal 5 core values. And then we do some identity work. This is one of my favorite sayings. The reason why you don't have what you want is you're not yet the person you need to be to have it. Or the reason why you're not doing what you want to do is because you're not yet the person you need to be in order to be able to do what you want to do and have what you want to have. So we do identity work. And this identity work helps you align your beliefs, your behaviors, your actions, your thoughts, feelings, sensations, and emotions with the person you need to be in order to start unfucking your mind and uplifting your life, and to get out of your head into your life and start making shit happen, to embrace your inner badass. I know I just threw a lot of curse words at you, but you know what? That's where we are today. And then also, I update your belief systems. We all have limiting beliefs that sabotage us, that limit us. I talked about one of these belief systems in one of my previous videos in regards to sales professionals, entrepreneurs, people who do network marketing. And if they don't feel comfortable with that or creating connections or establishing relationships with people, it's because this one belief system that was seeded into our minds when we were little kids, and it is don't talk to strangers. So many times we have these limiting beliefs. We don't even realize we have these limiting beliefs sabotaging us, controlling every decision that we make. So I help you or I help you identify those limiting beliefs and change them from limiting to empowering beliefs. So now those things empower and inspire you instead. And you don't know what you don't know, right? So we can't see our own blind spots. So I actually tell you what some of the most common limiting beliefs are that are probably keeping you stuck that you might not even be aware of. And every person that I introduce to these limiting beliefs are like, well, will you look at that? That just explains so much. And in these just couple of interactions that we have, a lot of people feel like they just had 12 years of therapy in a matter of like a couple hours. But this isn't therapy. It's completely different than therapies. I don't know why people make that comparison. The third thing that we do is I help you do what we call emotional clearing. Clear the underlying emotional core. We are like these massive fucking emotional trash compactors where we bury all of these stuck emotions within us. And every single failure that we've had, every single trauma that we've had, every single accident that we've had, every single mistake that we've made, every single stressful interaction that we've had with somebody, every single breakup we've gone through, every single loss that we've experienced, every single embarrassing time that we've had, that shit gets stuck in our nervous system and it messes with us. And it's what we call stuck emotions. And those stuck emotions, we think we resolve them. Oh no, I went to therapy. Or this is my favorite one. People are like, oh, I majored in psychology. I've dealt with baloney. You haven't really dealt with those emotions and processed through them and cleared them properly, because if you did, you'd be where you want to be right now. And you wouldn't feel stuck, or you wouldn't feel like those emotions are like keeping you clogged. You wouldn't feel emotionally clogged. So one of the things I help you do is clear those underlying emotions, because all those emotions, they have charges to them. And we got to neutralize and clear the charges out, so that way you are more of an open vessel. So that way you create space for the things that are important in your life instead of having those emotions sabotage you. And when you keep those emotions in your nervous system, shit can happen. It can come out and manifest in like physical forms, where people have these like weird physical manifestations of those emotions. It could be things like tinnitus. It could be tension headaches. It could be gut or bowel problems. It could be different pings or pains or illnesses. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I can cure any illness or anything like that, or ailments. Definitely make sure you go get checked out by a doctor before you even do anything that could remotely heal or cure any ailment. I'm not making those kind of claims. I will say, though, the residual effects of these emotions, these stuck emotions, and the anxiety, it consumes a lot of energy, and it can manifest in really weird physical ways sometimes. So I help you clear the underlying emotional core of things like trauma, deep-seated anxiety, stress, agitation, clear the underlying emotions behind sleep issues, too much behavior, so we call them, whatever too much behavior you're engaging in. The reason why you have those is because those stuck emotions are fueling those behaviors. And I really believe, and I've seen this with many of my clients, that you should do some sort of emotional detox or some sort of emotional clearing once a week. So that way it's like you take out the trash. So every week you're taking out your emotional trash and you're dealing it. Feel, deal, heal. We feel those emotions, we deal, we process through them, and then we heal from them. The fourth thing that I'm doing with people is what we call self-directed neuroplasticity. This is where we literally stop any feeling, sensation, emotion that could lead to a negative response. We also stop the anxiety, the panic, the stress, agitation, anger, frustration, anything that is sabotaging you, or any uncomfortable thing that could be sabotaging you. I teach you these neurological and self-hypnotic strategies that literally stop those patterns and those behaviors. This is a lot of stuff. It's deeper than meditation. It's not meditation. A lot of people ask if I do the same type of work as Dr. Joe Dispenza. Thankfully, Dr. Joe Dispenza has done a lot of the research for people like me, where your mind is plastic. And based on the way that you think, based on how you interact and engage with people, and based on the things you do, you can literally rewire your mind so the things that used to bother you don't bother you like they did before. So I'm teaching you different self-directed neuroplasticity strategies to help stop those uncomfortable feelings and kind of give you a mindset reset. And each one of them is under 3 minutes. Each one of these things takes less than 3 minutes to do. And once you master them, you can do many of them in just under 60 seconds. So it's pretty cool because I teach people do these three times a day. And they're just like these little kind of mental tricks that you do, and it can completely reset you, and it gives you a mindset reset so you can go into any situation clear-headed, focused, and alert. And the fifth, this is what I'm known for, is subconscious reprogramming, subconscious communication. Someone said to me one time, this is a really good compliment. She said, Dan, you don't hypnotize us. You just speak to the subconscious mind. And I've been doing this for a very long time. I've been doing this work since I was 13 years old, and I'm known as a hypnotist, but not your ordinary average hypnotist, because I have a lot of clients that come to me that say, I went to other hypnotists, it didn't work, but I go to you and it works. Why? Because I work differently. And in fact, I use a lot of strategies that don't require you to go into this deep trance-like state. I use a lot of subconscious communication that reprograms your subconscious mind and your belief systems without having to go into like this really, really deep trance-like state that not everybody can get into. Yes, I do believe everybody can be hypnotized. However, not everybody can be hypnotized in this deep trance-like state the same way at the same time. And I think hypnosis is different. So I take a very different approach. So those are the ways in which I work with people. And when we're doing a lot of the subconscious work, some of the interventions that I use, things like memory reconsolidation, forgiveness work, healing the inner child, parts integration and parts work, behavior modification, anchoring, conditioning, reconditioning, emotional replacement. So a lot of these processes are processes that I do with you that happen on a really deep subconscious level, and where if you go to therapy, it takes months and months to go through a lot of these processes. I'm putting you through these processes in just a matter of weeks. So you don't have to go through months and months and months of the same type of therapy over and over and over again. Like I said, this is not therapy. So those are just some of the ways that I work with people, and this roadmap right here, these 5 things that I do with people. The getting clear, like I said, very powerful foundation, deep discovery, emotional clearing the underlying emotional core, self-directed neuroplasticity, and subconscious reprogramming through different forms of hypnosis and healing. These are what get my clients more results than they could have ever imagined, wished for, hoped, or wanted. And I love doing this work with people, and I hope it shows. I am so passionate about doing this work with people. And people might wonder, well, why do you work with people who are more high performing? The reason why is because I was once pretty crippled with anxiety. I was really stuck in a certain part of my life, but I continued working through it. And one of the reasons why I work with people who have achieved more, they're at a higher level in their career, they're business owners, they're entrepreneurs. One of the reasons why I work with people on high functioning anxiety is because that's how I was. And I really resonate with that. And I love working with people who've had traumatic histories, and in spite of that, they're super successful, or they've made a lot of wins in their career or in their business. They have a pretty good life set up for themselves, because I resonate with that. So If you have a pretty good life for yourself, where you've built up a pretty good life, you're probably one of the most functioning ones in your family. You have people that depend on you. You've gotten this far in spite of feeling like an anxious ball of twine on the inside. You look like you have all your shit together on the outside, but on the inside, you're like, ah! If that's you, let's work together. Let's have a conversation. Let me know. There should be a link somewhere below this video or in the description of this video. And we can talk about what it would look like to work together to unfuck your mind, uplift your life. So, Cupcake, things get easier for you. All right, my friends, make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Comment below as to what you think of some of the strategies I talked about in this video. And as always, be well, do good, be true to who you are. Happy healing, and bye for now.